So today I'm arranging my bookshelf, and if you are somebody who is trying to learn English, then I think this video is perfect for you. I'll recommend a lot of books, too many books, whatever I have read, whatever I'm planning to read. So if you are looking for something which can help you improve your spoken English, or if you are just thinking of starting a new habit of reading, then you should watch this video and hopefully you'll find a lot of recommendations. And if you are here for the first time, my name is Roshan, and on this channel I talk about English learning, books, and sometimes movies. So this is a science fiction series which I recently read, Three Body Problem by Cixin Liu. It is originally written in Chinese, but it is translated in English, and it is a really good science fiction book, or better to say trilogy. So if you're looking for a science fiction recommendation, and if you want something entertaining but at the same time really thought provoking, then you should give it a try. So let me put it here. Well, it is impossible to fit all the books in a box set once you have finished reading them, because the spine gets spread out, and usually the books are really compact, but once you finish them they are not able to fit in the box set. So this goes right here. We are starting with only trilogy today. The Lord of the Rings. Actually, this is a single book, but I have this three-part version. This is very good, but language-wise, it is a bit challenging. So, if somebody who is at intermediate level, only they should try reading The Lord of the Rings. But there is another book from the same series. It is called The Hobbit, and it is written in a very simple language. It is very easy to read. The book is going to be somewhere around here. So once I find it, I'll show it to you. This is a very relevant book, 1984, written by George Orwell, and it shows the current situation of our world, how we are monitored all the time, freedom of speech. So this book deals with themes like that. Again, it is for intermediate level speakers. So, but you should try, give it a try, and whenever you encounter something new, something difficult, then you should not get scared. Just try, and you will find out the solution for it too. Ikigai. It is one of the few self-help books which I have read, and like in our country, almost everyone starts with self-help books. So once I read The Alchemist, I wanted to read this because it was really popular those days, and I used to watch anime a lot. So when I heard that it is related to Japanese culture, I just couldn't stop. But yeah, it is a very good book. What you see behind this, it tells you about finding your reason to live, what we do on a regular basis. It is about that, finding your passion, making money, your meaning of life. It doesn't tell you how to make money, but it will tell you about following your passion, or just a reason to live every day. So if you are looking for some inspiration, then Ikigai is for you, and it is very easy to read. Now, these two books, I think you must be familiar with at least this one, Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. And this book is The Brothers Karamazov by the same author. And I only recommend these two books to advanced level of speakers, somebody who is already comfortable with reading. Only they should pick these two books. They are philosophical, but of course they are fictional novels, so you'll be entertained. But I would say that be ready for some heavy themes. I wish, and I'm planning to read the third book from the same author, The Idiot, which I have been delaying for a long time, and hopefully I will start reading that soon. So I'm going to put them right here. I'm just putting my books wherever I feel like, but I will have to readjust them. The next book is The Great Gatsby. I don't know how to pronounce the author's name, but it is an American literature book. And I don't, I remember reading this last year. And even though it is a very thin book, I wasn't able to enjoy it as much as I had heard about this one. So, and again, language wise, it is for intermediate level speakers, and it deals with this American dreams, and there is a movie too. So if you are interested, you can watch the movie, then try reading this book. Untouchable by Mulk Raj Anand, and it is one of my favorite reads from my literature year. In the second year or first year, I had to read this novel. So this book deals with a teenager, Bakha, or Bakha, and he belongs to a caste which is not considered to be touched, which was not considered to be touched before independence. So, and this book deals with the caste system of our country, and It tells the harsh reality. Language, I would say easy to intermediate. This is the collection of stories of Franz Kafka, not just the stories, his whole work. The Trial is there, Metamorphosis, Jackals and Arabs, The Great Wall of China, In the Penal Colony, A Hunger Artist, and some more short stories. So I have only read two, The Trial and Metamorphosis. So I'll keep it here because I have to read other stories. And he's one of my favorite authors because his stories make you think and you find yourself in his world. And it is not good to find yourself in his world. And that's the harsh truth. You will always find yourself in his world. So this is for again intermediate and advanced level of English speakers or learners. But don't go with that. Just try whatever you feel like. I you should try. Don't listen to me when I say that it is for advanced level speakers or intermediate level of speakers. You just have to try and see whether you understand the language or not. Because sometimes you realize that you are ready to put effort even if the text is challenging because you find the topic interesting enough. Don't listen to me completely, but of course you should not stop watching this video. If you think that the idea or topic sounds interesting to you, then you should definitely pick it out. And Franz Kafka will make you think a lot. So if that sounds good to you, then definitely you should. Let's talk about a Japanese author, Murakami. I have read a couple of books from him, and this one is Norwegian Wood. I like this book, but I'm not sure how many people will like this because it has a lot of pop culture reference because I think Murakami is influenced by American culture, and because of this I read this another book, The Great Gatsby, because the main character of this book was so obsessed with that. So I also got curious and read that. And the most fascinating thing about Murakami's writing is that he blends this surrealism and realism together. So, if you are looking for something odd but at the same time very easy to read, then Murakami is for you. And especially this book, Norwegian Wood. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. This is children's classic. This book follows the events of this character Tom Sawyer, and it is for children, but I liked reading that. I haven't finished it, so I'm gonna keep it here. A drama by William Shakespeare, Hamlet. I have got the whole collection, not the complete collection, but around 10 dramas in the same pocket size book. I love this size of books, pocket classics, which you can carry everywhere you want to, and it doesn't attract so much attention. So I'm going to keep it here. I'm reading it right now. I think, in the middle of it, but it requires a lot of attention because William Shakespeare's writing is in archaic English. So you will always encounter very difficult words and some words you can't even make sense of. So I should not say it is just reading. It is a studying for me. So I'm keeping it here. The next book is A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khalid Hosseini. I discovered him last year and I love his writing. And his writing style will make you cry because his stories are really sad. And this one, I don't think I have ever cried reading a book when I was reading A Thousand Splendid Suns. It deals with what women and children have to go through in Afghanistan. And I think this book is still relevant. So I always recommend this book to all of my clients and all of my students because the language is easy and they are able to connect with the story very easily. The next is my all time favorite book, The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. And it is not a novel, it is a collection of essaic poetry or essaic poems which deals with almost everything in our lives, from clothes, house, love, hatred, crime and punishment. Whatever topic you think, there is a chapter on that. And this is written in metaphorical meaning. It has layers of meaning, so it's not something that you will pick up and will be able to understand it very easily, especially if your English is not good. But this is for advanced level of speakers. Try this if you're looking for something unique and something philosophical. So this is another collection of stories which is translated in, I assume, from Urdu to English. Uh, Stories of Manto and Ismat Chugtai. I think you must be familiar with Manto. He was from India, but after partition, I think he shifted to Pakistan, and she was also from our country. So I don't know the history, guys. I may be wrong about the facts, but I was interested in reading, and I got it from the most famous bookstore in Delhi, Fakir Chand, and I really liked the cover. And I was looking for something to read by Manto, so I purchased it. And their collection of short stories. The only manga I own, manga means comics, Japanese comics, and it was gifted by one of my classmates, Sarah. So thank you, Sarah, if you're watching this video. And this is my all-time favorite author or manga artist, Takehiko Inoue. I always mess up his name, but boy, his writing, his art, like is out of this world. If you are looking for something to read in manga, check out this manga called Vagabond or maybe Real. You will find out why he is the goat. And also his another popular work, Slam Dunk, which is again another masterpiece. And another book which deals with war, The Book Thief by Marcus Jussac. I read it last year and it also made me cry. I'm a very, when it comes to war, I don't think I'm ever able to hold my tears. I feel so helpless, and the writing style was very easy of this book. The language is very easy, so I was able to read this very quickly. So another recommendation for beginners, The Book Thief. This was the author which got me into reading simple text or plain text, Paulo Coelho. So this book is Veronica Decides to Die. I haven't read this, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. Emma by Jane Austen, a classic. I tried reading this, but I couldn't continue. But I know that this is good. If I give myself enough time, then I will be able to. So this is in the reading list. I don't know anything about this one, and I don't want to read this either because I have no interest at all. It came along with The Prophet, but I don't know. Let I have no idea what this book is about. So when I was traveling to Delhi, I wanted to get some of the books of Manto and Ismat Chugtai because I am interested in Urdu literature also. So I got some of their stories, but these are in Urdu, so I haven't been able to read anything. The Sikari Aurate, Manto Ki Khatut, and Thanda Ghost, Masoom by Ismat Chugtai. So hopefully one day I'm going to read these books in Urdu. You must be familiar with Charlie and Chocolate Factory. A lot of movies are made on this book, written by Roald Dahl again, and he's a very popular author. I'm not able to pronounce his name, but his books are written for kids. So one day I'm reading this too. Stephen King, I haven't read anything from him, and I got this book from Delhi. It was sold in second hand. I don't know anything about this, but I want to read Stephen King. Anton Chekhov collection of stories, short stories. I have read half of it, but I will continue it one day because see, the best part about short stories are that you can pick up anytime you want to, you can leave anytime you want to. So this goes here. The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This is the next challenge I want to take to read this book. You see, it's very bulky. It doesn't look bulky, but the text is very small. So if you can see it here, this is the text. So you can imagine how much time I have to put into read this. But I know this is another great book, and a lot of people whom I follow, they have recommended this. So one day I'm reading this too. In Our Time by Ernest Hemingway. So this is a short story. So Ernest Hemingway is another author which I want to read. I have got his whole collection. uh, Here it is. This is not whole collection, his some of his famous works. So I'm planning to read them very soon. I have read only one book from him, The Old Man and the Sea, and I even made a challenge video here, and it was really good. So I'm reading this hopefully one day. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. It is similar to 1984 by George Orwell, but this was written before that. So it also deals with this dystopian world, very similar to 1984, but it is written in a completely opposite manner. That deals with a lot of fear. This deals with a lot of love. So give it a try if you're looking for something new. I'm really proud of finishing this Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I read that when I was working in a school, so I had a lot of free time, and this makes you appreciate Russian literature. And Russian literature is something that requires a lot of time to read, but they are worth it. So, very challenging, but a very good read. The Stranger by Albert Camus. Uh, so, if you are looking for some philosophical thoughts, then try reading this novel. But this is This deals with absurdism of our life and one of my favorite books, very thought provoking. This is another favorite books because how much I enjoyed reading this. I looked forward to read this every time I return from work. So that's why it is my favorite. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. It deals with racism but written in a very witty way. So I love the writing of this book, one of my favorites. Paulo Coelho, The Spy, I read that because he's my favorite author. When I hear the name Paulo Coelho, I don't think too much because I had a great time reading The Alchemist. And when it comes to reading or watching anything, I always try to explore the same author or same film director or same actor. Because if I like something, I try to watch something more from them. The Spy is a novel about Mata Hari, and I don't know whether it is semi autobiography. I don't remember much, but it is about a spy. So give it a shot. Julius Caesar, the only drama which I have finished by William Shakespeare. I read this because I had to teach this in one of my schools, and I had a great time reading this. And there is a movie which you can definitely check it out. So yeah, had a great time reading this one, Julius Caesar. The Guide by R.K. Narayan. I had to read this in my second year of college, and it's a very entertaining book. I would say very entertaining. And there is a movie too on this, so you can check it out. I am not trying to scare you guys, but this is my all-time favorite series. Look at them, how bulky they are. I can't even stand properly. I'm just gonna keep them here. So this series is written by Brandon Sanderson. Stormlight Archive. He has planned total 10 books, but he has written only 5 so far. In simple words, this is the greatest thing I have ever read. Full stop. It is entertaining, fun, it will keep you busy. And The Way of Kings, I'm already getting urged to reread this. I finished reading this last year and I'm already itching to reread that. That shows that how good of a book series this is. I'm gonna keep them here. So this is the longest novel ever written, In Search of Lost Time by Proust. So I haven't read anything. This is another challenge which I'm ready to take. I'm going to keep them in the corner. Harry Potter. I don't think I need to introduce this, but this is what I recommend for anyone who is trying to get into reading. These books are written for kids. Adults can also read. They can have a great time. This is simply my childhood. I used to watch these movies on loop, but once I became an adult, started affording books, started reading books, I read them and it got me into reading. So this is something you should start reading if you don't know where to start, and if you're looking for something easy. So this will simply improve your English, get you into the habit of reading, and after that you can start exploring some challenging books too. So let me find some space for them. The Odyssey, the Iliad by Homer. And this is another classic, I think, old literature. And guess what? Christopher Nolan is making a movie on the Odyssey. So I want to read this before the movie is released. I know that these books are going to be really challenging to read. The Hunger Games. I purchased this recently. I want to read this series too. I watched the first movie when I was a kid. I don't remember anything from Hunger Games. And I know that this reading this is going to be easier than reading classics. So this is for, you know, this is for some easy time. A Little Life. I have heard that this book is too depressing, and that's why it makes me scared that what if I get influenced by it. So that's why I'm avoiding it, but it is in my collection, of course. This is a short story by Fyodor Dostoevsky, White Nights. I think this is a great introduction to his writing, so you should start with this one. It is just some 100 pages. Again, the language can be a bit intimidating. You can get to know him by reading this book. Sally Rooney is a very popular author of our generation, and this book, Normal People. So I read this only because I had watched a lot of clips of the TV show, and yeah, it's a book for young adults again. So the language is very easy. A book by Murakami, Underground. I haven't read this. I don't know what this book is about. I'll be reading this very soon. As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow by Julfa Kato. I have heard a lot of good things about this, and the writing style of the book is similar to Khalid Hosseini's writing. So I'm looking forward to read this one. This book was gifted by one of my clients. Uh, Thank you if you're watching this. The Myth of Sisyphus by Albert Camus. This is a philosophical text, very difficult to read, so I'm saving it for some other time. John Williams Stoner, one of my favorite read of this year, and I had a great time. So if you want to check my full thought, you can watch that video. This is very easy to read, so I recommend this. Animal Farm, a book by George Orwell. I'm so tired to talk about anything. I'll just mention why whether you should read it or not. So do check it out. It's a good book. Animal Farm. Another recommendation for beginners, The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini. And I'm not going to talk anything about this because this is a popular one. I had a great time. It made me cry. The story is good. You should definitely check it out. Stephen King, haven't read this. This is considered one of the most difficult books ever written in English literature. Ulysses, haven't read this. I want to read these two books by Mitch Albom, and I don't know what these are about. A Man Called O by Frederick Backman. I have only read half of the book, but I'm continuing this as soon as I'm done with what I'm reading right now. Another book by Murakami, what I talk about when I talk about running. I haven't read this. A Hindi book, haven't read this. Siddhartha by Herman Hesse, great read. Try this, it is for everyone. Ruskin Bond, he writes mostly for kids, but I think yeah, adults can also read. Haven't read this too. The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx. I'm not ready for this one. A book by Charles Dickens, Oliver Twist. I'm not ready for this one too. Another book by Paulo Coelho, 11 Minutes, and this book is for adults. I think I read this when I was in class 12. If you are underage, don't read this. Kanthapura by Raja Rao. Had to read this during my college years. A Passage to India by E.M. Foster. Another syllabus book, but this was entertaining. A Small Things Like This by Claire Keegan. It is a very short story. You can read this in a single day, and it is very good. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. It is a philosophical book. It deals with Stoicism, and there is no structure of this book. It is simply journal written by Marcus Aurelius for himself. He never intended to publish this, but great thoughts. The Kybalion, Three Initiates. Sonia recommended this, but I haven't read this. So hopefully one day. Nithalle Ki Diary, Harishankar Parsai. This is a Hindi book, so I'm looking forward to read this. Sapiens, haven't read this. The Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. I have read half of it. It's very challenging, so I'm saving it for some other time. Charles Dickens' Great Expectations. Again, I have read some 20% of this, but I don't feel like continuing this at the moment. These are all dramas of William Shakespeare. I haven't read all of them, and except these two. I have read The Prophet, so it's a pocket-sized book, and the Importance of Being Honest by Oscar Wilde. So these two I have read, and rest of these I'm planning to read. Men Without Women by Murakami. So I want to read this too. And The Mountain Echoed, another book by Khalid Hosseini. So I haven't read this either. So this goes here. I want to read a lot of Indian authors, and one of them is Arundhati Roy, The God of Small Things. So I'm looking forward to read this. This is another scary book which I don't feel like starting very soon. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. So I'm not sure when I'll be reading this, but definitely one day. Sue Dog, Phil Knight, haven't read this. But David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. I read this when I was working in a school. But I don't think you need to read this because it is very bulky. But if you're looking to invest 2 or 3 months, then definitely you should try this. This is the first book of In Search of Lost Time. I haven't started this, but I'm keeping it on my table because I have to read. I have to start reading this. The whole collection of poems by Walt Whitman, and I have read some of this, but it is a poetry book, so it takes a lot of effort to read. This is almost full collection of Khalil Gibran. I have read some of it, but this is something which takes a lot of time to read, so I am always reading one chapter here and there. The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. You can read it in a single day. I read this recently, Mistborn by Brendan Sanderson. This is a three-book series, a trilogy. I finished reading second book today, so the book is still lying on my bed somewhere. So I have already made a video on this, so do check that out. So I don't know what to talk anymore. I'll just arrange them properly. I'm so tired to talk anything right now. So hopefully, if you are watching, I hope you have got some recommendation. And still, if you have any doubt what you need to read, what you should read, then leave a comment. I'll definitely reply. And let me know if you have read anything of these books or if you want to read them.